You can see okay there, can you?
Yes, it's okay. Now you can start.
Okay, so then we'll just start here. So just a little bit of background, same as everybody else. Grew up with a 64 VIC-20, used a pad at school, and really wanted to write a game now of sort of semi-retired. So I wrote Puckman last year, redefined the pet character set, made a charge N for it, and you can see in here it's a bit flaky as an early version, but it did the job. A few people sort of downloaded it, got the ROM, and had their own go at it. But I was limited by the memory in a pet. So loading from disk was quite important. And I spent a year trying to figure out how to load from disk, read all the forums, all the documentation, just couldn't figure it out. And then I got a message from Ken, who knew how to do that. And he's very, very good at 6502 assembly. So what we did is we both started to work on building this project. My side was more from prototyping, from game design, and then eventually converting it all across into assembler. And Ken can go into a bit more detail about how we did all that. But we ended up basically building, let's see if I've got a document here we can show you. We were doing some collaboration, and we actually ended up with this huge document about how the game was going to work, all the features in the game, all the technical details about how it worked in the memory, how the maps were laid out, what graphics we could use, what we couldn't use. And using collaboration in here, we both generated a list of parts that we were going to work on, parts that issues and problems that were occurring, mapping the memory out, building the levels, and eventually, after several months' hard work, we came up with Rotor Rampage, and we're just going to show you a quick look at the game. It uses disk. It's the only way we could get it to get as much information that we wanted in. And let's start it up here. So just going to switch something on here to make this easier to look at. So we decided that it's going to be a helicopter game. It was there were some games on the 64 that you probably remember that started with helicopters, and then feature creep came in. So every time there was like another idea, let's add gravity into it. So if we go up here and we shoot the wall, you know, we wanted destructible scenery, and then we needed to decide how the game was going to work. So we decided that you needed to have a certain amount of fuel and a certain amount of ammo to complete the game. Aliens, when they hit you, would drain your fuel down, so you had to kill them quickly. So this is how it really started, and I'll just run through a few parts of the map here. So you can actually shoot out the blocks here to get through this wall, and the idea is to collect these people en route. If I can get down there. And you've got aliens that are after you all the time, and you've got arrows shooting at you, and you've got to shoot those. You've got to be very careful not to actually shoot the people as well. Just fly over them to pick them up. They will walk around to try and get away. You have to shoot through certain walls to get to places. You'll also find that, the aliens are a little bit more angry than they used to be. So I'll try and get past that one. So everything is loaded from a SD card or a floppy disk. It will actually work on a floppy disk drive. The level itself is, we went for a 16K chunk of memory. It means that it's very quick to move it in, move it out, and build the animation on top of it. We're not having to load large tiles up and work out where they are and plot them all. So it's really giving the interface a nice slick feel to it. You'll see some of the other feature creeps that came in here. In fact, some of the levels, you'll see the word feature creep on it. That's a joke between me and Ken. But at the last minute, I said, well, it'd be a great idea if we could have, running lava in the game. So if I show you there, shot a hole in the wall now, and the lava's going to pour out all over the place. And it got to more and more features we're adding. There are certain hidden places that if you fly over, it will actually trigger a wall to open. We're trying to make it as interesting as possible. And really, we're using pretty much every resource that the pet's got. I think Ken will be able to clarify, but I think after it was put into assembly, there was only a handful of bytes of memory that was actually left in there. Ken really did a great job in assembly. He's built joystick support in there as well. I don't know if I can go back here, show you this. I did a load of work in Golang trying to convert MIDI files into a format that a pet would play. And we've worked together on that. And eventually we've got some good results. So you'll hear when you first load up the game and start playing it, there's some tunes inside there. We're giving this game away free to everybody. The idea, it's more of a retro passion for us to build this. I really want to keep as many pets alive, so I collect pets, I restore them. It's a dwindling resource out there, and some of the parts are getting difficult to find. In fact, 2 parts in particular are impossible to find. So the idea is getting it live again, and we'll build this game, we'll give it out to free. We'll also go across in a minute how we design the levels inside here as well. So again, the objective is, you can pick up hearts for memory there, pick up ammo, refuel. I'm just going to get one of these. And on every map in the bottom right corner, there's a little exit that you have to fly over. And there's some cheeky little things like that. You pick up somebody and an arrow's just in the wrong place to get you. So let's just fly around quickly and see if we can get some other areas. So another feature creep was, that's something that happens all the time. So you've got to be really careful or you'll assassinate the people that you're supposed to be rescuing. There are actually bombs that you can pick up. So I'll show you hidden room at the moment. So if we come down here, you'll see that, let's just shoot these aliens. Oh, nearly killed up. Oh, got hit by an arrow there. I've actually got it in cheat mode at the moment. That's why I didn't die then. You'll see when you die, your helicopter breaks into pieces and falls to the ground. But you can see there's some money in there we've got to get to. We can't get through the granite rock behind here, but if you know where the secret exits are and you find them when you fly over them, you can see that opened up the wall. So that enables us to fly into there and pick up all the extra loot and all the extra cash. And it's got to the point where Ken's going to have to change some of the code to put larger scores in the top right-hand corner to take them all into account, because the scores are getting quite big now. So 16K for the map gives us quite a large environment that we can fly around, and all the animations are done on that. You can see I've tried to exit the map there and I haven't rescued everybody, so it won't let me. Each map is loaded up directly from the disk. I can cycle through them here, so we can load up the next one here. Got a picture of the old floppy drive there. And you can see there, each one's a little bit more challenging and a little bit more difficult, and some extra features in them. I think if we cycle through a couple of them in here, there's 10 levels in total. We've got some Egyptian tombs in this one here. Let's go along to the next one. A couple of standard ones in here. And then we're going to a sort of medieval kind of map inside here. You've got the bombs as well, so if I can drop a few bombs in here, and you can see you can sort of break through into other caverns and stuff. I'm not sure whether you're picking up the sound effects in the shared window here, but there is sound effects and music in the game as well. So let's just cycle across a few other screens here. So the objective was in here, I think, when we started building this, was to make it as complicated as possible and to give Ken as much work as I could and use up as much memory to get as many features in the game. So this is a Dyson sphere level. We can just cycle through and maybe have a look at one or two more just quickly. As you go through, the levels get more complicated, as I said, but the graphics will change inside here. So you can see this one's completely different kind of style. Again, another hidden platform. If you land the helicopter there, it opens up the wall here. So you can get through and then into the level. This one's actually based on the Commodore PET motherboard. So as you fly through here, and we'll open up some doors in here, get rid of these aliens. You'll see there's there's a 6502 chip in here, but as you fly around, you'll find components that exist in the PET. Actually, if I just break through here, you'll probably be able to see. Let's get through here. Some Jack Trammell's quotes that are in here. Yeah, we're going to get in trouble with this. We're going to end up spending the whole time just watching me play the game here. But yeah, you can see down here. There we go. Some quotes from Jack Trammell. So that's a quick look at the game. Joystick support is in there now. We've also done quite a few other levels that are going to be coming out in level packs. You'll see on the left-hand side here that Ken, again, Assembler Excellent here, has managed to get this working on a 8032 and 80 column mode. And even though it's moving a lot more data around, the game is still smooth and as playable as it is on the standard pets. So I think you have to have a 32K pet to run this. Apart from that, we've got it working all the way down to ROM level 2. So if you're running a pet with one of these RAM ROM boards, you can run it on pretty much anything that's out there. So again, minimum level of that. So on top of that, we've designed and built, that's the website if you want to go and have a look. All the downloads in there are just one-click downloads. If you've got an early pet, which has a very old version of the kernels, there is a version there for it now to get you up and running on that one. And to have a quick look, and this is something we're going to be releasing, is the level editor. So this is written partly in Golang and partly in a product called Zojo, funny enough, which is a good rapid development environment. There are quite a few algorithms for generating game levels and maps and things like that, and there's a couple of implemented in here. We can go through those at probably some other point, and all the instructions will be in the documents that come with this. But basically, top left-hand corner here, I've actually decoded the actual ROM character set for the Commodore PET and rendered it in a bitmap here. So if you want to build a map here, you can actually pick components. So, we can draw a square here. In fact, let's just clear the map here. So I could draw an area like this, and there's fill routines and everything, like an art package in here for game design. You can just click on what you want. It has some quite nice features up here where you can say I want to smooth it, and you can see it's actually doubled the pixel level around the objects that are inside here. There are hotkeys that you can use for putting fuel bases in, and if you want to put people in, get that in the right place. So it's completely automated. We're just working on cut, paste, and zoom and all that kind of stuff inside here. And it's as easy really as just clicking on the level that you want to edit. You can scroll around within that level, so you can get an idea here, if I can zoom out slightly, of the size of the level. So each one of these dark lines around here is actually a 40 by 25 screen. So you can see this, I think it's 16 screens that make up one level. And they're loaded fairly quick, so it doesn't interrupt gameplay. And yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting when people start playing around with this and building their own maps. We're already talking about the ports to other platforms in this. I think what's really cool about this is the game engine that Ken's built inside this, because it can be modified and tweaked really for a whole range of different types of games. If you wanted to write Defender in this, it would only be a slight modification. In fact, you could probably do it just by using top part of one level. You've got the aliens, you've got the scrolling and the detection and everything inside there. So there's some really, really cool bits and pieces in here. I think Ken's probably going to give you a better overview of how he achieved this and what the compiler was and everything that he used. But yeah, I mean, that's a really quick overview of Rotor Rampage. It came out of me spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to read and write from the disk drive, because I knew that there wasn't enough memory in the PET really to get the kind of level of detail and the amount of levels that were required to do a decent game. And then the fortunate meeting Ken on one of the forums when with an answer to my prayers, basically, and managing to build that low-level code to get us to have all this extra level of detail. So there are 3 packages on the website. We've got the standard 40-column PET, so that's your 4032s. You've got the 80-column PET and the early, the Microsoft cookie one, if you like, the one that Bill Gates put his own company name into, which he shouldn't have done, all the way back to the 2001N. And if you're lucky enough to have one of the earlier PETs, the blue screen PETs, then as long as you get a RAM ROM board so that you can get the at least basic 2 running on it with 32K, you can run it on one of those as well. So I think I've summarized as quick as I can. I'll hand over to Ken now, who's technical architect in the back of all of this, and he can give you a bit of background on the compiler that he's used and how he managed to squeeze so much into such a small space of memory. Great.
All right. Well, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. I didn't prepare any fancy graphics, so you can just leave that up there for the moment.
Okay. Okay.
I just wanted to give a quick little bit of background on how it all came together there. The project actually started as Dave was talking, and I put a few little things together for him, and I started using the CC65 compiler package. A really nice package with lots of features and very easy to use. And after I did a few things for him, I said, "Oh, this is kind of fun." And then I found out how to connect it up with Vice, because Vice has a built-in system monitor as well. So I could do a little bit of hacking on one side, bring it right into Vice, and do the debugging over there. So it all came together quite easily to start there. So that was what kind of got me started. And Dave said, "Well, there's one more thing and one more thing," and he's the feature creep expert there, I'll tell you. One thing led to another, and we ended up. I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to develop an engine, and you can put whatever you want in it. I wasn't really interested in building the whole game and everything else, but I mean, after a couple hundred hours that we must put into this here, it just kind of took off. The engine itself basically does what Dave was saying. It's got a large size map, and a window of that map is displayed on the screen, and everything is adjustable inside the engine. So that's what Dave was talking about when he said we could do other games with it. It's well suited to bring in, a different size map and a different size viewport on the screen, and all the stuff outside that is what is the game unique stuff. So when you see the titles and the scores and all that stuff, that's not part of the actual engine. Everything in the window box that is displayed there is what the engine is doing and where the gameplay actually happens. So the idea behind what I was trying to design was something that we could use and implement in many more games in the future. I haven't decided whether we're going to make that publicly available or not for other people to do their thing, but it's ended up being a nice little package. And by the time I put everything together, I think on the 8032 version, I ended up with 12 bytes left. So by the time we did the music part of it, the map part of it, and the engine actually isn't that big, but it's all the data that it has to deal with. It actually does Z buffering. So everything that's playing in the game actually happens in the game space in the map area, and the viewport function actually just displays a certain map area on your screen. So it kind of made the graphics a lot smoother by doing that. You don't see things jerking and moving around. There are some little tweaks that are put in there specifically for this game, but in general, the engine itself is very adaptable to any number of other things. And we'll probably, in the not too distant future, put out a couple more things similarly coded. So, like I said, many hours went into this, and I tried to keep the flexibility and the options open for a lot of other things. There's actually a few features in there that are in the engine that aren't implemented in this particular game. You may see some more fancy things popping up in the future too. It's a lot of fun, and it was done as a retirement project because I'm retired as well. Wanted something to occupy my time over the winter here, so getting back into the pet end of things, I was a pet service or Commodore service guy for 10 or 15 years back in my earlier youth when these things were rampant, and then out off onto another career. And when I retired from that career, I kind of got back into the Commodore stuff. So this was all part and parcel of many years of learning and going and doing. And I guess in my on my side of things, it was just supposed to be a little bit a fun project. It's all good. We came up with a pretty good product by the time all was. Any questions or comments, or back to you there, Dave?
Many thanks, Dave and Ken. I see a comment from William. Much respect for approaching the development of the game as an engine. And then I saw a comment on Facebook as well that says that looks really cool, and that's from Sven, who's a regular speaker here at our meetings.
One question from me. I never seen a pet, but I have a Commodore 610, 610. Is
Yeah.
it working on that one too?
The
Wow.
version we have is very pet specific, unfortunately. We're looking at developing for other platforms, but haven't really embarked on anything quite yet.
Okay.
I think the 610 is quite radically different to how the original PET was architected. So I think that would be quite a difficult one to, well, time-consuming one to do. And I think you're lucky to have one because there are very, very few of those around compared to pets, and there are not many pets either. So yeah, it's more and more the obscure platform down the road.
I was surprised really how fast and how smooth is the scrolling. Is it because you're on the on the emulator, or do you have the same
No, that's the actual speed of the game playing.
Wow,
it's coded completely in machine language. There's no basic parts or anything else. We do use some of the ROM calls for the disk loading and stuff like that, but basically that was kind of one of my criteria. I think we ended up, I calculated about 12 frames per second. And for a pet, that's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah. And more importantly,
it's actually happening.
Yeah, the no flickering, because it's effectively double buffered, isn't it, from reading from the map? So yeah, that was, I mean, you do see flickering in the game, but that's by design. You know, we wanted the rotors. In fact, that was a great idea of Ken's there to make the rotors flicker like that, make it looks like
yeah, it's actually a little bit smoother when you get on the actual pet. It's a little bit smoother. It's because it looks a little choppy. Yeah, it looks a little choppy because of the sharing screen in the video and all that stuff. Even on Vice, it's actually pretty smooth.
So and then I would like to come back to this level editor that you have made. Yeah. In practice, how does it work? So let's say I go and I get a copy of the game, and then I have the copy editor. How in practice, how does that work that I can integrate and play on my own level?
Okay, so it is as simple as naming the file. The engine will look for level 00, 01, 02, 03 all the way through, and it will keep going on until it finds until it runs out. So you basically you come into here, you say, you know, I want to create a new map. You design your new map. You save it as a level number, and that file is a data file that you can just copy straight to an SD card and put on in the game directory and put it on your pet straight away. And then obviously you can, from your SD card, you can load it and then save it out to a real floppy drive if you wanted to get the full experience on there. It's there's a little bit of work, but there's we could probably get a cassette version going. There'll be some of the screens that you'd have to skip. You know, we couldn't load the instructions. The instructions actually are a level themselves. They're level 99, I think, in here. So you can see there are quite some detailed instructions in here of all the different features in here. I don't know if we missed any. Oh, one of the interesting things that we were doing inside here was actually trying to get the game working so that you could hold two keys down at the same time. And I had some old assembler from somewhere that actually gave us the ability to hold multiple keys down, so you can fly, you know, press 8 and 6 and fly upright. Although there are the extra diagonal keys in there as well now, but there was some interesting other little bits and pieces to go in there as well. But yeah, it really is just a set of 160,000 blocks. When you actually pick a character in your palette over here, you can see if I click on the letter A in verse, you'll see it's gives us the hex and the other number for it. And then you can just basically, in fact, if I just go into here and clear the map, if you say, for example, you wanted to, you know, you had some ground here, for example, you could use. We found there's actually two special characters that you don't really see on a pet. You have the normal 160 block, but you also have this in shifted block, and you'll see this is a different color at the moment just from the game editor. And you have the same with the space. You have a normal 32 space up here, and if we come down to here, there is another space, 96. And when you're designing the game, you can actually put this in anywhere on the map. And as the aircraft flies over or through this space, or even shoots this space, it will make these blocks disappear. So you can have basically hidden rooms or walls that you can't get through unless you've triggered some magic process in the way. But the way the map designer works is if you hit a character, for example, the letter A here, and click it onto the map, it actually reads every single byte from the character ROM chip that it loads. It actually loads in the raw character ROM chip from the pet. And then it renders it bit by bit into that square, and then it renders the whole 160 blocks using raster lines. You can still move around fairly quickly inside it, which is nice. But that's how it builds up. There is a definite file definition that we have for our levels, which include music. It includes what we call an alien table that has all the locations in the map of where the aliens are, and they're all embedded together, and they sort of sit just before the map data, and then the game engine loads in, and it loads in each map. Each map's got its own music. Each map's got its own set of aliens. And one thing you don't see in the game, well, at the moment the aliens all look the same, but the engine supports the ability to have different size and different animations for the aliens, and different animation, different pictures for the aircraft as well. So there's a lot of extra cool stuff that's hidden away inside there.
Super nice indeed. Yes. I can imagine that maybe you can have very soon a huge community of people developing extra levels, and
Yeah, that's the dream. In fact, one quick thing as well, if we've got time, is that we've been working on looking at a online version of this. So there is a ROM board that you can get from the States that has Wi-Fi built into it. We've been looking at the protocol behind that to see whether we can actually have it uniquely identify every pet that's out there. You can store your high score tables up there. There is something in high scores in here we probably haven't got time to go into, but yeah, actually building that into an online thing, so you can go in and you can steal the map that people have built. You go down and pick whatever map you want to play, and eventually, hopefully, having loads of games listed in there as well that you can sort of pull down, etc.
It would be super nice. I see a question from William. What I think you answered that, but let's see. What language development environment was used to build the editor?
There's parts of Golang in here, which is Google's internal development language. The UI is done in a project called Zojo. In fact, if you like kind of, I would say it's like basic type of language, but it's more it's more structured than that. It is a really good prototyping language. You can build things very, very fast in it, and it uses the LLVM compiler, so it does compile to a pretty quick executable. I've built encrypted phones using it, so it is quite a capable engine.
Good. Any other questions? Anybody?
Oh, just one thing. This will be available on Linux and Mac as well. The compiler compiles to those endpoints.
Nice. I don't have any more questions. If no more questions, then I will stop the recording now. Many, many thanks, Dave and Ken.